This you have to see. Elise Stefanik, Republican Congresswoman from New York, explains how what Mike Pence did was fine and Trump was treated unfairly for the document stuff, but Joe Biden is a national security threat. That's the real issue here. There are three stories here. Two of them, the Republican ones, are not a concern, but the Biden one, that is the real issue. Let's take a look at this. And she starts talking about a weaponized FBI and blah, 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 blah. Folks, we have three situations. We can analyze them pretty clearly. And this is not the way that the line is that what would you I'm searching for a metaphor here. Let's just listen.
In the case of Vice President Mike Pence, he came forward and proactively reached out and is following the process. In the case of Joe Biden, he has had classified documents going back to his time in the Senate, where he started serving before I was born. So this is a long-standing national security threat, setting aside the very important fact that Hunter Biden also had access and used as his home address where those classified documents were improperly and illegally stored.
Does she realize the number of people that have access at Mar-a-Lago? Like, if she's concerned that Hunter Biden sometimes went to his dad's house, she is going to be stunned to learn what happens at Mar-a-Lago with regard to who could have had access to the boxes of documents that Trump directed to have placed down there. We don't even have evidence Biden knew he had this stuff. We don't have evidence Pence knew he had this stuff. Let's continue.
This will be a part of the oversight agenda, and on the House Intelligence Committee, we absolutely want to make sure we have all of the facts.
Is there a concern, we've seen it with former President Donald Trump, with Biden, with Pence, that some of the top leaders just aren't handling classified information at all? Should there be some sort of reforms of how the top leaders have access to that information?
Well, let's highlight the difference here in what the consequences have been. You had the FBI raid Mar-a-Lago. You did not see any of that happen for President Joe Biden.
You know why? You know why there was a different handling? Because the legal law enforcement authorities trying to get the Trump documents back spent months trying to get them back through other means. With Biden and with Pence, in Pence's defense, Pence did the same thing. There would be no opportunity for a raid or search warrant to be executed because the amount of time between when the documents were found and turned over was so small. That's why they're, among many other reasons, by the way.
Who illegally did this. What also is different is President Trump, as president, has the right to declassify documents.
That's a ruse, okay? He has the right to. He didn't, and legal experts are almost unanimous on the fact that just saying pack up my documents and send them to my house does not de facto declassify them just because the president does it.
So the media should cover the fact that the FBI has been weaponized against President Trump and clearly has covered up for sitting President Joe Biden.
What a rhetorical pretzel that Elise Stefanik has wedged herself into. It may not shock you that Elise Stefanik was a gleeful endorser of George Anthony Kitara DeVolder Santos. You know who I'm talking about, right? The guy who invented the heart transplant technique and built the Eiffel Tower, that George Santos. Anyway, she was lovingly, gleefully an endorser rather, of Santos. Shouldn't come as a huge shock. At some point, I actually do think that this will maybe not backfire on Republicans, but just fall flat. And what I mean by that is, if you look at polling and approval polling, so far, Joe Biden has been unaffected by the classified document situation. My guess as to why is that the American people realize there is no evidence of any kind of malicious intent or subterfuge, whereas the Trump situation is dramatically different and Trump's approval continues to suffer. I think the American people are actually smart enough to know. And that's a phrase that's often used by Republicans to say, I believe the American people are smart enough to realize when socialism, it just really genuinely seems as though people realize the difference between the Trump document story and the Pence Biden stories, which right now look relatively similar, although differences may come up in the future. Let me know your thoughts. Is it clear to you that we are dealing with dramatically different situations here in terms of Trump, Biden, and Pence with these documents? Or do you think that it's basically all the same thing? Let me know. Make sure you're subscribed on YouTube at youtube.com/The David Pakman Show. And make sure you're following me on Twitter at DPakman. Are you tired of the same old off-the-shelf grocery store honey? Look no further than Manukora, our sponsor. The honey is made by bees that pollinate the native manuka trees in the remote forests of New Zealand. It gives it a unique, dark, rich, delicious flavor that you won't find in any other honey. It is 100% raw. If you look at it side by side with regular boring honey, you can see the difference. I've got my honeys next to each other on the counter and it looks very different. Manukora is also responsible and sustainable. All Manukora honey is harvested using traditional methods so you can enjoy your creamy caramel honey, knowing that the production was easy on the bees and on the planet. It's a perfect natural sweetener. I've been adding it to my tea and my toast, but because of the amazing complex flavor, I find myself using it in things I didn't even put honey in before, like oatmeal and yogurt and smoothies. I have to admit, my girlfriend once caught me tasting Manuka honey right off the spoon because it's that good. It really stands out from everyday honey. So don't settle for the ordinary honey when you can enjoy the unique, delicious flavor of Manukora. Go to manukora.com/Pakman and use the code Pakman for a free pack of honey sticks. Very nostalgic to when I was a kid. With your order, a $15 value. Taste the difference for yourself. The link is down below.